where music's at now, and then in the future where there'll be even more places to put and distribute music in a sense. And listen, what's the future of radio?
Radio will always be someplace because there's always going to be poor people. And radio's free. If you're working in the warehouse, they may have the radio turned on in the background and we'll always hear it. Coming from radio, the problem that I always had was I knew how many people tuned away when the commercials came on. The only way radio makes money is through the
Commercials, ads,
commercials.
sales.
So that's where it's scary. It's like, and then everybody started consolidating. So now they don't even care sometimes if they're making money because they have this portfolio and their stock price or whatever it is. I remember when our station was acquired, I was in Santa Barbara, did my whole radio career in Santa Barbara. And we were acquired for $3 million, this radio station. And it was going to one of the bigger companies. And I'm like, how do you justify that when we charge $30 a minute per ad and we only run 8 minutes of commercials an hour? That's $240 an hour. Where's this $3 million evaluation come from? And that was really confusing.
What did they say? What was the answer?
They had no answer because as they acquire 15 radio stations, it helps build up their stock. They control all these markets. So that was back then. I always think there'll be a place for radio. I hope so because I wanted to be a DJ. That's all I ever wanted.
I come from radio background similar as you. So that's why I asked those questions and I wonder where that's going.
Well, what's funny is Demiza. A lot of people, he's all over Instagram right now. Damien, when he was 12 years old, him and I worked at the same radio station. He was a little chubby kid, and I mean, he knew more about hip hop than most black people knew about hip hop at that age. He was that kid.
Got you.
So he went on to run Power 106, Hot 95, Hot 97 in Atlanta, or in New York.
The Miz did it?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Oh yeah, no, he was like senior VP of whatever company he was working for at that time. Emmis, I think it was.
And Emmis had both of those states, Power 106 and Hot 97.
And he was just this kid, but it's like he always thought about the street. You know, he always thought about what was going on, and he had to disappear for a little while and, you know, take care of his grandma. Family was most important to him. So here's a guy that was so influential in the early 2000s of the hip hop culture that could not find a job in radio today. And now he's doing other things, which is great. He's consulting on some projects. But what I was telling him is I said, listen, the new radio stations and programmers are the playlisters. I said, what you should do is you should create 5, 10, 15 of your own playlists and take the best playlist from the 2000s, 2001, 2000, because he was bringing Dr. Dre and Snoop Dogg and Eminem and all these people together, and he was doing all this stuff. I said, you could create your own radio stations now with 300 songs and go get to whatever the place is where you can pay for them to listen to your stuff, make a couple bucks. I said, just don't tell them what you can do, show them what you can do.
I'm gonna be honest with you. To me, I think that's the biggest hang up for the generation, my generation, a couple of generations before and after, is that we can see the change coming, but now we have to reset. You have to, that's the hardest part of my life right now, is that I'm filming, but my studio is right there, my office is right there. I still have to run my business that pays all the bills, which is music. But this pivot, this right here, this pod is a pivot opportunity. But that's why, to me, that's going to be the biggest hang up going forward.
It's not reset, it's accept.
Exactly.
Accept that things have changed. And are you willing to change with it? And that's where it's like all these artists would come to me, and for whatever reason, older artists are attracted to me thinking I'm their last hope.
Yeah, for sure.
And I'm like, listen, I said, here's the thing. Most of you are fighting technology. Technology is your friend. Most of you said, I just wish it would go back to the way it was. And I said, no, you don't, because then only 20 people got a shot.
Yes.
That's it.
If we go back to the way it was and people are like, well, I wish I would have met you 20 years ago. I said, no, you don't, because I didn't have the technology that I have now to help you.
Yeah.
You're just a good artist.
Everything was controlled.
Yes.
The videos we watched was controlled. The music we listened to was controlled. And all you had to get to was like 3 or 4 very important gatekeepers to like you, and you got a shot. Now, here's what they don't say. This is the part that I learned. A radio programmer, a playlister, they can all put your shit at the top of Rap Caviar.
Yes.
That does not mean it's gonna work.
Not
and
today.
that's why.
Not today.
That's why you gotta find a way to consistently do something while allowing the seeds you're doing to blossom,
Yes.
right? Because there's like the other side of that. So let's argue the other side.
Sure.
You could go to 4 or 5 gatekeepers, but now you got to convince thousands of people.
What happens when you get off those playlists? That's what was killing people.
Yeah, that's
the algorithmic playlists are the ones you want on.
Yes.
You want on Discovery, you want on radio, you want on those.
Yep.
Because those, and you want to, and every artist, if you do not have your own playlist, shame on you. That's like being the program director of your own radio station and not playing your own music.
Yes.
It's like you're bitching because somebody didn't put you on their playlist. You haven't even built a playlist for yourself.
Yep.
You're bitching because somebody didn't play your song today. You didn't even share it on your Instagram stories where somebody could tap on it and listen to it on Spotify.
Yes.
So stop blaming other people and go to work for yourself.